Here's Randall Cunningham, play action fake. Back to throw, wants to go long, throws it off balance, and the ball is caught again downfield, and another touchdown.
Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers, border rivals, bitter enemies, and one of the most intense feuds in the NFL. But where did it all begin? Minnesota Vikings and the Green Bay Packers, two fan bases divided by a river, 280 miles, and decades of pure football hate. This is more than just a matchup, it's one of the NFL's most bitter rivalries where legends are made, hearts are broken, and grudges last for generations. So what is going on, guys? Dev here, and welcome back to the SKOL Patrol. So something that I always thought was very interesting was the rivalry between Wisconsin and Minnesota, particularly when it comes to football, guys, the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. So I am a Minnesota native. I was born here in northern Minnesota, right on Lake Superior. And when I was around, I don't know, 4 or something like that, we moved over to Wisconsin for a time. And you know, my stepdad was always a big Packers fan. And you know, obviously everybody else around there was as well. But me, being a Minnesota diehard Vikings fan, I was kind of at odds with everybody around me in a sense. I talked about it a little bit in the podcast that Colton and I made a long time ago. Maybe I'll leave that in the description. You guys should check that out. But I talked about how I was living in Wisconsin during the time that Randy Moss got that touchdown. You guys know which one I'm talking about. And he went over to the goalpost and he did a little action. I'll show you guys here. I'll throw the clip in here.
Vikings are not inside field goal range for Morton Anderson. Moss. Randy Moss is in for a touchdown.
Al Harris playing off. Bit up on the route, and Randy Moss, without even really being able to run, as he shoots the moon to the fans here in Green Bay.
That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss, and it's unfortunate that we had that on our air live. That is disgusting by Randy Moss.
But everybody around me was talking about how disgusting that was, you know, how bad of sportsmanship it was. But if you knew the story behind it, I think the origin of that move was he was heading into town to Green Bay. He was heading into town, into Green Bay on a bus. The whole team was, and they look out the window, and all that Randy Moss saw was like 4 white butts. You know, there was a bunch of guys mooning the Vikings bus. So this was his way to kind of get back at them.
All the little bit of animosity that was up to that point that they done owed to us. And I said, you know what? I get to play this game. So as we go into Lambeau, as we coming in, before they put the new locker rooms and all that stuff, it's probably about 10 white asses sitting over there over the hill. They got all their pants down. It's nothing but white moons, just all lined up. So we're on the bus. We're talking about, oh my God, we're sitting there laughing. So if you remember my touchdown, I scored the touchdown that really put the game away. So one of the wide receivers came over to try to give me some love. Man, Bessie, I pushed him off. And I don't do that. I give my brother some love. I pushed him off. I said, no, I need this moment. I need this moment. You back up. I need this moment. So I still haven't forgot. Where you at, Moss? The butt
But nobody talked about that, right? They just kind of vilified him. They talked about it nonstop on like SportsCenter, ESPN and stuff, talking about how, you know, that was a disgusting move and how he shouldn't have done it, poor sportsmanship, all that stuff. But I thought it was pretty rad. That's just kind of how it went for me. A Vikings fan living in Wisconsin. Eventually we moved back. I live here now. It's all good. I'm surrounded by allies now. No, I'm just kidding. And to be honest, guys, it's probably one of the most well-known rivalries in all of NFL football too. So where did it come from? The rivalry kicked off in 1961 when the Vikings entered the league. Literally, guys, as soon as the Vikings became a part of the NFL, we started beefing with the Packers. So we entered the league as the new kids on the block. Their unlucky welcome gift, sharing a division with Vince Lombardi's Packers dynasty. For the first decade, it wasn't even close. Green Bay dominated the NFL, stacking championships while the Vikings were just trying to find their footing. But by the late 1960s and into the 70s, Bud Grant's Purple People Eaters arrived, and suddenly the Packers weren't bullying the neighborhood anymore. The Minnesota Vikings defense was nasty, their fans were loud, and the games between these two turned into pure black and blue football. Frozen tundra, smashed helmets, and a whole lot of hatred. And by the 1980s, the Packers had slipped. The Vikings were usually the better team, racking up wins, while Green Bay struggled to find its post-Lombardi identity. But then, everything changed in 1992. The Packers found an absolute gunslinger out of Mississippi. It was a guy I never heard of before. His name is Brett Favre. And suddenly, the rivalry caught fire again. So anybody who knows anything about Packers football knows the name Brett Favre. The guy's an absolute legend. He really elevated the Packers and brought them to a whole other level in that era. So suddenly, they caught fire again. In the 1990s saw the Vikings stack talent too. Chris Carter, Randall Cunningham, and of course a rookie phenom by the name of Randy Moss. Moss made Green Bay his personal highlight reel, torching them at Lambeau and letting Packers fans know about it. This era set the tone. Green Bay had their superstar QB, but Minnesota had the firepower to punch back. And then came the moment that shook the football world. 2009, Brett Favre, the face of the Green Bay Packers, put on purple. When he signed with the Vikings, it was the ultimate betrayal. Vikings fans were ecstatic. Packers fans, not so much. They were pretty furious. That season, Favre didn't just play football, he owned Green Bay. He played some of the best football of his entire career, guys. 2 wins against his old team, including one in Lambeau. And this kind of made this rivalry nuclear. I remember around that time, it was pretty loud. But of course, Packers fans got the last laugh. Just a year later, Aaron Rodgers delivered them a Super Bowl, and not to mention torched our Vikings a whole heck of a lot of times. So that brings us to the Rodgers era. The Rodgers era was brutal for Minnesota. Year after year, he carved up the Vikings, stacking wins and reminding them who ran the NFC North. Still, the rivalry had its moments, like Anthony Barr breaking Aaron Rodgers' collarbone in 2017. Oh, happy times. Or maybe Justin Jefferson announcing himself at Lambeau with the Gritty in 2022. We had our moments, guys. I think we had our moments. But overall, Rodgers owned this matchup, and Packers fans loved every second of it. And now, with Rodgers gone and both teams entering a new era, the story feels fresh again. Jordan Love leads the Packers while the Vikings are placing their future in rookie J.J. McCarthy and superstar Justin Jefferson. The stakes are high as ever, and the hate is still alive and well. And all of these things, guys, all the bitter moments, all the heated games, all that talk back and forth from the fans brings us to right here and right now. We have Jordan Love's Packers versus J.J. McCarthy's Vikings. So who do you guys think is going to be the better team this year? You guys need to sound off in the comments and let me know what you think. The Vikings and Packers aren't just rivals, they're enemies locked in a frozen war, where bragging rights last all year and every Sunday feels like it's life or death. This isn't just football. This is Vikings versus Packers. So that's all I've got for you today, guys. A brief history lesson on the rivalry between Packers and Vikings, which is still alive to this very day, guys. It's going to be a very exciting season, too, for Vikings versus Packers football. And gosh darn it, I think we're going to take the dubs. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the SKOL Patrol. I have been Dev. What is up from Minnesota? And it looks like we'll just have to see in the next one, guys. Have a great day.